In this week's portion, Shelach from the book of Numbers, we find the famous story of Moses sending in scouts, one for each tribe, into the land of Israel. They travel throughout the land for 40 days and then report back to the community as to what is in store for them so that they can prepare adequately to settle the land of Israel. We know tragically what happens with this story, that 10 of the 12 raise fear among the people, saying that how well fortified the cities are, how the inhabitants look like giants to them, that it'll be impossible. And only 2 scouts, Joshua and Caleb, have faith in God and say, don't worry, we will be able to settle the land. But because the people believe in the 10 scouts and complain to God, they are forced to be punished by God to march through the desert for another 38 years, so that that generation that has left Egypt will die in the desert. And perhaps the new generation, born in freedom, will have the faith in God to settle the land. The fascinating question about the beginning of the portion is, God is the one who commands Moses to send in the scouts. Why does God do that? We know that God can perform miracles on the people's behalf, and we see throughout the Torah that God has done so. And even that God marches in front of the people in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Why do they have to worry about how they're going to settle the land? God is marching before them. Perhaps the answer to this question is found in last week's portion, in which the people perhaps don't appreciate the miracles that God has performed for them, because we see in last week's portion that they complain about being provided with food by God every single day. Manna falls from heaven every day, and they are sustained. Why? But yet they complain about the lack of varied diet. They want to have meat in their diet, and so God sends quail for 30 days straight and punishes the people in that way. So perhaps God is testing the people. God is saying to the people, okay, you don't want to trust in me, maybe you can trust in yourselves. And then we see the tragic result that they can't even trust Joshua and Caleb, and by extension Moses and Aaron, and they are doomed to be punished and doomed to die in the desert, and perhaps the next generation will see the settlement in the land of Israel. And so by having the 2 portions together, Baha'alotecha and Shelach, we understand then that whether it is up to us to look for spirituality in our lives, or whether spirituality is thrown in our laps by God, human nature is always skeptical of that spirituality, and that it takes great effort and great faith in order to experience God in our lives. Shabbat Shalom.